Hey, thanks for joining me once again. We're going to do our final edition of Market Update. Talk about quickly about the market. I know I've been saying this all the time. I'm going to make this short as possible, as I really am, but it seems like I always have something to say because I'm passionate about what I do. And I think it's important for people, especially if they're really trying to understand how to best handle their asset, because most homes are anywhere from Santa Fe Hills, Discovery Hills, anywhere from 800,000 to 1.6, 1.8 or so. So we have quite a bit of asset that we need to deal with. So it's very important to make sure things line up. Before we get going, let me introduce myself. Hopefully you already know who I am. If not, welcome to this quick update about the market. This is the last one. So let's talk about the market. The market definitely has slowed down quite a bit. We are coming towards the end, but things are still obviously selling. I had a couple of closings this month, but I think I may be done, maybe not for this month, but we're getting really close. Yes, the market has closed, even though, as you know, the rates have been dropping. And I'll bring this up in a second so you can see actually what I'm talking about. So let's talk about the rates. We're down to 6.2. So very good rate, right? Very low compared to where we were. We were almost at 8 at one point. We're probably going to see some reduction in rates, and all that means is prices are likely going to pick up. Although, like I said, people, I think based on the inventory we have, the inventory is not going to last long. It's going to be absorbed pretty quickly. So it's really important kind of to keep things on a level. What else is new? Nothing really has changed, and I'm going to come back to this slide as I come back to it. This is a live, basically a life of a listing, for lack of better words. So as you can see here, it actually exemplifies exactly what happens when you put the listing on the market. If you do things right, you can bring as much activity. The activity really peaks within the first week, 7 days, 8 days, and after that, it's a pretty steep drop in activity, right? And what's more important, as I said before, time is money, right? What that means is basically that the longer your home stays in the market, the less becomes its perceived value. And this is all about perceived value in this market, right? Because the only way to really get people excited is being able to sell early in the game. If your listing has been on the market for, 3, 4, 5 weeks, chances are it's either going to expire in today's market, or you're going to have to do some major price reduction to make things happen. Let me just show you something so you can see a visual on this. So what I pulled up for you, I didn't pick anything out. I just picked up the 3 days worth of solds. And let's see if I can bring this up. Okay, so 3 days worth of sold listings. So, and you can actually see it's a very nice, easy pattern to see, right? So if you can look right here, let me make this a little bigger for you. Okay, so if you can see right here, this is days in the market right here in this column, and this is the original price, and this is what something sold for. So let's look at this: 25 days in the market, 649, 645, pretty close. So like I said, lower cost things have higher demand, and things will sell. But as you go further in there, 49 days in the market, right? 899. 837, you see that dip, and we're still actually below average. 89 days in the market, right? We went from 1,475,000 down to 1,325,000. Substantial loss. Time is not your friend. Let me say this again. Time is just not your friend. So the next one, let's see something with lots of days in the market, so really can bring this home. Let's say we have something that's 59 days in the market, right? Vista, that doesn't matter where it is, 1,645,000. Property sells at 1,542,000, about 100K. 6 days in the market, as you can see, at 1,550 and 1,525. I'm not sure exactly why. Agents do matter, like it or not. Like I said, there is timing, there is a full potential of the property, and there's also who's negotiating for you. So you really want to understand what's happening. Let's look at this one. 89 days in the market. It's a Carlsbad property. Originally was priced at $2.2 million, right? $1 away. And it closed in $1,660,000. We're looking at almost $400,000 in a drop, huge drop, right? 107 days in the market, 850 asking, 750. So what I'm telling you, let's look at it. 109 days in the market, 1,750,000, and we sell at 1,650,000, right? As you can see, this is something that's obviously a real thing to worry about. So you really want to make sure that you understand the cycle, right? We already showed this to you before. This cycle is imperative. The cycle is imperative to get you the most money. The best time to sell the property is literally the first weekend. So that's really important to dial things in, right? Overall, the market's good. There's less listings, there's less sales, and there seem to be less homes coming in the market. Now, a lot of people think it's the best time to sell the property is, well, everybody's going to scream there, springtime, and everybody thinks the same way. So usually we have more people coming in the market, and even though we might have a little more demand, it all kind of evens out, right? Again, jump back to Santa Fe Hills. We've had some sales here. I'm going to bring them up in a second for you so you can see what has happened here. Let's see right here. Okay, let me punch this in really quick. Okay, so as you can see here, we have 3 actives and only one. Actually, this is Regina, right? Next door to us, Kaylee and Lindbergh, all in a new development. And we only have one pending, is a Vanita Leon. We'll see where this lands. I don't know where it's going to land. But this is basically the rest of them. As you can see, we did not have that many sales. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can see 1, 2, only 2 of those came from the older Santa Fe Hills, right? Not the new construction. Everything else has come from the newer stuff that's built by KB and Lennar. So as you can see, things are still moving, and the prices, in the new communities obviously is higher. We have 1.5 almost, 1.5 of Visalia. So things are going there, even though they were built like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. They're actually there's more selling there than there is in the older Santa Fe Hills community. So one thing you also want to keep in mind, I've kind of covered that before. When you put your home on the market, you shouldn't be selling your home unless you actually need to sell the house. There's no point of you to be in the market, right? There's no need to test the market. You're really going to get beat down unless you're doing things correctly. The market works when you have a seller that has obviously some kind of motivation and a buyer that has motivation, right? And that's ultimately why the best time to do so is with the first week, because we can get those 2 people coming together. Now with my program, obviously you're going to have a lot of motivated buyers that can come out and bid up the property. But all things being equal, it's really important to have a reason to sell. If you have no reason to sell, don't sell. Just keep it off the market. All you're going to do is just going to burn yourself out. And when the market says, we don't want your home, you're going to feel kind of bad and rejected, and probably going to blame your agent. And you probably should, because in many cases, agents should not be taking properties because they already know if they're going to sell it or not. But a lot of times, unfortunately, and I'm being honest here, a lot of agents may not like me for this. Agents are told, just take the listings. It doesn't matter if you think they're going to sell or not. Let the owner ultimately make the decision. However, I think it's a detriment. I think if I'm going to step in and do that, I'm going to hurt the individual more, because if I know something's not going to sell, I'm going to be in a position to basically expose the home on the market. And now the market says, well, we're not going to sell this price. I'm going to have to come back and ask you to lower the price, lower the price, lower the price. And the most important component, again, if you go back to the chart, if you remember the chart, right, the most important part is going to be that the fact that, let me bring it back here. The most important part is going to be that we have already gone over the most opportune window. I'm not sure if there's any other way to say that. The most opportune window to get the home sold is right here, the first week. After that, as you can see right here, perceived value drops. And that's why I don't like doing this, because it's really not a great thing to do. If I can't sell it, I'm going to tell you I can't sell it. If I feel you're out of reality, I'll let you know. If you don't like it, that's too bad. I'm sure you'll find someone who will take your listing. I'm not in a I'm not in the business of collecting listings. Now, also one thing you have to do is a lot of people will look at online and see a lot of agencies will have a lot of listings, a lot of brokerages, right? Having a lot of listings is really not a plus because ultimately it's all about getting listings sold. I try not to keep a big inventory. Everything that I take usually sells within the first week or two, so I'm able to keep people happy, focus on the things I need to focus and not have to just carry an inventory of laggers. There's no need for that, right? So as you can see, this is Santa Fe Hills. Let's jump to, let me see if I can jump here to Discovery. We have a little more, 1, 2, 3, what about 6 listings available. We have quite a few pending, as you can see, right? Via Veracruz, Bridgeport, Trailside, this is Rancho Tesoro, right? And we have a few that have closed. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger for you here. Right, so La Cuesta, Gemstone, which is Rancho Tesoro. There's been quite a few sales in Gemstone. As you can see, a 2,200 square foot property sells for around $1,040,000, right? This home was in the market for 30 days. Right here you can see that. Originally asking price was $1,079,000, so $1,040,000. I'm not sure where the other concessions are, but ultimately, like I said, this is the only two, I believe. Yeah, the only two that sold last month or within the 30 days. So there's been not a lot of sales. There's a lot of pending. So we'll find out hopefully at the end of the year what has happened, what they sold at. But if there's anything that I'm coming across with, right, talking to you here, is the fact that if you're going to sell, you want to make sure you line up all your ducks in a row because it's really important. Small mistakes and basically falling for someone who's buying your listing, and that's an agent that says, oh, you want this price? Of course, that's the price I'm going to get for you. You really don't want that. It's like going to a doctor and the doctor knows, what you ask him to do is not going to work out well. And they're saying, well, yeah, sure, we'll do it. You don't want to deal with that kind of doctor. Same with an attorney. You don't want to deal with your attorney that's not going to give you proper expectations. You really, you have a lot of money at stake, right? Most homes in the area of either 92069 Ranch Santa Fe side or Discovery Hills, you're way above $1 million average. I don't know why people gamble. They're trying to save sometimes 1%, right? So it's $10,000, and on the other side they lose out $40,000-$50,000. I don't see how that makes sense, but it's not my money. And that's really all I want to say. Like I said, if you're wanting to know a little more detail what's sold and what I can do for you, feel free to contact me. You should find the information right below. You can always look up leotherealtor.com. You'll find me there. Anyway, I want to close this out on a high note. We have Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's coming up. If you've been following me, I want to wish everyone obviously a spectacular New Year's. Hopefully everything you want to happens to you, great things. And ultimately, like I said, hopefully I'm bringing some great information for you and some food for thought. And I just want to sign off. Again, wishing everybody a wonderful holiday season. And I'll see you in the next year. Goodbye.